And welcome everybody to the glorious episode of the Put on Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, along with Ryan Holmes, and we are podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. I don't know, fall is not a thing out here no more. I mean, it was blazing hip hop and R&B today. I don't know,
95.
95. It's hot. It was hot today. So, our PORSBR is my Twitter handle, and then Ryan's is RHOLM22. So check him out on Twitter. So we have some of these. We'll start off the show real quick and do some videos. Do some
Yeah, so essentially, Dwayne doesn't like this, but the Raiders are going to rush three. They're going to cover eight. You can see it's a cover five, which is two man, and then there's an eighth defender, which is Abram, and he's kind of going to play in the hole here. So you have the two safeties that are going to cover, the halfback there, and then you have man across the board. Diablo's got the running back. You can see the four other receivers are covered by the DBs, and then you have two hanging over the top. This is a great play by Harmon. Probably saw something on film because watch the break that Harmon gets on this ball. He's basically running the route. He knows
yes.
right there. Boom. He's breaking on that out route before the receiver even. He's still two steps from his break, and Tannehill throws it right to him. So, veteran move by Harmon. He saw something on tape where he knew exactly what's coming here. Watch it again. Like he's already breaking before the receiver. That's Sam Webb in coverage too. So he had to play some snaps in this game, but they did have some packages where they rushed three. And it looks like Abram, he's kind of playing a robber. So this could be like five robber if you want to know what this defense is probably called.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got his eyes on Tannehill the whole time. They probably should have run this defense a little bit more against Arizona, where you had a guy in that low hole who's basically just spying the quarterback. So I thought it was a great play by Harmon, and that's definitely a veteran who studies film to see the break that he made on that ball.
Cool. Let's go to I think this one here is the touchdown of Devontae Adams.
Yeah, this is one of the few times they put him in motion. You can see they're in the red zone. You got a safety and a linebacker. So when he comes in motion, this is clearly zone. And they bracket him. So you have Byard on the outside. You have Cunningham, the linebacker, on the inside. Devontae sets him up here with a little stutter move. So, the Raiders like to run a lot of option routes from the inside. So he's basically setting them up, and they're probably thinking, oh, this guy's going to break in or out. And watch Devontae puts his foot in the ground after the stutter and gets vertical because there's no defender past the goal line. Sticks his hand up. Derek Carr makes a great throw on this play, puts it right over the helmet of the DB there. Devontae goes up and catches it. So it's interesting they bracketed him here, but if you watch both defenders, watch where they are when Devontae gets splits them. They're both basically standing on the goal line, and there's not a defender behind him. So that's a great route. That might have been an option route. It could be a stutter go. It could be an option. We really don't know because he does have the option to work vertically if he wants to. So it could be like a three-way go for Devontae. Let's just assume one of the defenders was in the back of the end zone. He probably breaks in or out based on the leverage. But that was a great throw, and the Raiders need to do more of that.
That looked like a like a little. Some teams do like a little picket fence there. When they get to the goal line on a passing play, but they didn't. They obviously Devontae just split that. Let's see here.
Yeah, this one was the Hollins play we talked about earlier. So just watch the two safeties. They're in a two high split safety. Byard immediately comes down on Darren Waller. You see the safety on the side closest to Devontae Adams. He's basically just going to work over the top of Adams. The corner's in a trail technique. And this is 3rd and 14. And Matt Collins, it's got one-on-one coverage at the top. He basically puts his foot in the ground. You see the DB work outside. Hollins breaks inside. Great pocket by the O-line. Great throw by Carr. Good route by Hollins. That's a first down. But this is the defense they played probably 80% of the time, where they basically said, I'm going to double Waller. Wherever Waller goes, this safety goes with him. Wherever Adams go, that safety goes with him. So that's why Hollins had a big day, because he was in single coverage the whole game.
Yeah, I did like this. I did like this play too. And this one here, Carr has a little pressure on his face too, a little arm coming at him too, and he kind of puts that right on the money on that play there. So he does provide a big target for Derek too as well. So that's always
my question is, how come when we turn the Raiders film on for the last 5 or 6 years that I've been doing this, like I never see the Raiders defense say, hey, we're just going to double this guy, double that guy, and your third or fourth guy has to beat us. They
It
never
does.
do that.
They never do that. They never do that. So let me grab one here. So this is this is a little glitchy. All 22 was a little glitchy, but this play was one of the plays that annoy the hell out of me. So let me just get here. So everybody knows I'm a big Patrick Graham guy. But a couple of things is the rush three. I hate rushing three or rushing two at any moment. You saw that on the Kyler Murray play. But this one here, I'll let just go. This here is they just got a first down stop. They tackle for loss. It's 2nd and 13. So what are we doing as far as defensively here? So it's a screen pass. He comes across the formation. You just have to be able to get him down there at some point where it's not 17 yards. The Raiders are consistently giving up just huge chunks of yards on second down, and it's killing drives. I mean, they're getting stops, but they're getting stops where they can't where the team is flipping field position and the Raiders have to go 80 yards all the time. This was a great opportunity early in this game where the Raiders could have. I'll say it one more time where the Raiders could have stopped them deep in their territory, and maybe Carr and the offense only has to, they get the ball at midfield or get the ball at the 45-yard line or 40-yard line. That's a big difference when you're trying to drive the ball down the field.
Yeah, there was another one on that drive, another third down right after that where Abram kind of just loses the guy.
Yeah.
I think it was a tight end who may have blocked and then released out on the flat, and he just lets him go. And the guy picks up like 10 yards and gets the first down. So there was a couple there, and then clearly Todd Downing went a lot of play action on the first
Yeah.
couple of drives and just tore the Raiders apart.
We saw we saw this and this is a tough one because I don't want to see a reverse to Devontae Adams, but I do feel like if Colton Miller just touches Weaver here, he cuts it up and it could be a big game. Like but he just totally whiffs on this block, and and he kind of blows this play up. And then next thing he's way behind the sticks. I think the other thing I don't like about this play is like I'll stop it right here. It's where it is. Like that's the I call it the pre red zone area. This is the area where I know Hugh Jackson is known for being a really bad coach. I get it. He's been terrible. He's been terrible with the Browns. But when he was with the Raiders, they scored a lot of touchdowns. And this is the area where he used to love to kind of attack the defense. Now they have to be in a you got to see what they're in. I understand all that stuff, but if you look where he's already set up to kind of be a problem on this play with that wide set out wide. So that's if he was more closer to the defensive tackle here, maybe you get away with Devontae Adams can just cut this thing, put a foot in the ground and go right up the field. But if you look where he is right there, I mean, even if Miller makes a tackle on this, it's still going to be him, Devontae Adams, still having to come through here and make a really tough run. It wouldn't be a clean jet sweep for him to get yards up the field.
No, and you have the safety dropping down right when he comes in motion, so there's no one to block the safety, the guy that makes the play.
Yeah.
Or that's the corner. You can see Hollins works for the safety, but watch 37. He's creeping down. Like there's literally no one to block that guy.
Yeah.
So even if Miller makes that block, he's going to have to cut inside. He's going to have to make a DB miss, either the safety or the corner, to pick up positive yards on that play.
Yeah, not a fan of that one. Not a fan of that one. So you can keep the reverses. I mean, I like if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it with somebody else here. So let's see here. Let's let this one play. I'm trying to remember what this one is. I watched so much tape this week. So this is Josh Jacobs bouncing. Let's see. I gotta give you a Josh Jacobs run because we don't see him very often. So let's see here if I can get that on. There we go. This is Jacobs trying to bounce this outside. Almost scores touchdown on this play. Good job by Jacobs here. And here's like something that happens a lot too. I feel like the Raiders will get to the line of scrimmage and they'll get within the 5 or get within the 5, 2-yard line. And I don't know if it's, you remember that, I don't know if you remember, because I don't know if you were at the game or not, but the Ravens game last year where Eli Manning talked about don't hard count when you're at the when you're at the goal line. I can always hear Carr's mouth very like his voice very loudly. So I don't know what happens on this play. It's probably I'm not blaming Carr for this at all. I'm just saying like they always have like a procedural penalty. It seems like here in this moment where this could have been it should have been an easy touchdown for Zaire White. I'm just gonna just 20 with 22 personnel. I'm just kind of thinking maybe this is probably a run. Probably a run in this situation. They could have play action fake to either Waller or Moreau, but you just had that you had that kind of brain fart here where you have Illuminor gets looks like everything's going to be hunky dory, and then Illuminor moves, and then next thing you know you're in that you're backing things up again. So like that's those mental lapses are just killing the Raiders here. They are. I think this defensive line is probably bigger. Offensive line is probably big enough to kind of push this team back. So yeah, I just feel like that's just those little mistakes here are just like are killing them, And also, the thing that's killing them as well is they drive me crazy. Is like what's up with the franticness at the line of scrimmage with the play clock? Like that is like I don't know what that is. That has to be all their whole system of like from offensive coordinator to head coach to the quarterback.
Yeah, I think Zamir White's the most snake bitten running back in the league because I think he's been in for like 4 or 5 plays this year, and there's been a penalty on 3 or 4 of them. Um, it's funny. I was listening to the NFL radio driving my daughter to school today, and Charlie Weiss was on, and they were talking about procedural delay of game. They were talking about it. He said it's 100% on the play caller or the quarterback. Those are the only two people
Yeah.
that are. So it's on those guys. Like there's two things: either the play's coming in late or the quarterback's taking too long. Charlie Weiss said. So um, we don't know which one it is. Clearly if there's an audible and the play is changed, it's on the quarterback. If it's coming in late and they don't have time. But I don't remember either one of those where they had to frantically get to the line of scrimmage and try to snap it. I think, either they were changing a protection or something was going on. And then obviously with a rookie center, you can see the one where Carr started clapping like, I think it was 3rd and 13 when they were right after the
Yeah.
interception.
Uh-huh.
He starts clapping at like 3 or 4, but then if you watch Parham's literally turns to say something to the left guard, and then he turns to say something to the right guard. Like he's still communicating, and he can't get the snap off. It was too late. It's not if the quarterback claps his hands at 1 or 2, it doesn't mean that I should snap it right now. Like they're still communicating whatever Carr was adjusting within the protection. So I think that's what happened on that one. You could even say the false start on Colton Miller on 3rd and 4 in the red zone. That was on
Another
the
one.
center. That
Yeah.
was Parham just didn't snap the ball because you see Carr like try to come out. You see the rest of the offensive lineman move, and Parham just didn't snap the ball. So that obviously the procedural penalty went on Miller. That should have been on Parham.
Yeah. It's those are tough. Those are tough, especially after Jacobs almost carried the team in the end zone. You would like to see him get get a TD right there, and not have the penalty. Anything else about the debacle in Tennessee here?
I think we should move on to Denver.
Let's
They're
go.
0-3.
Let's go.
I think we've rehashed everything that went wrong in the Tennessee game on multiple
Let's go.
podcasts.
Let's go. So let's go. Let's jump on the in the saddle, if you will, and then try to see what we would do with the Broncos. The Broncos are 2-1. They won 11-10 on a interesting safety by Mr. Jimmy Garoppolo. Kind of channeled his Dan Orlovsky there. What makes the Broncos dangerous in your mind?
Their defense. They're, I think, number 2 scoring defense in the league. They have 2 edge rushers. They have a really good secondary. They're playing really well within the scheme, and then clearly, Russell Wilson hasn't played well, but he has 2 fourth quarter comebacks. So when the games have been on the line late, Russell Wilson's made some plays. So I think the defense. I think this is going to take the under when you go to the game on Sunday. I don't think this is going to be a high scoring game. I think this defense is going to keep them in there. I think the Raiders defense is going to do okay, and it's going to come down to a turnover here or there, or something's going to happen to flip field position. The Raiders are going to have to come up a way to move the ball, and this is probably the week where you want to see Devontae Adams inside a lot. get him away from Patrick Surtain and Ronald Darby and have him work against the linebackers, because the issue with the Broncos is their linebackers in coverage. So this should be a game where Darren Waller works underneath. You just throw some screens to Abdullah and to Jacobs. Get Adams, in some of these formations. But the Raiders are going to have to get the ball out quick, because the two edge rushers, Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory, they're coming.
Yeah, and I would say too, you on the touchdown that you highlighted. I mean, I would love to see 17 in motion a lot more. I feel like you get him away from you get him away from that coverage. It's hard to kind of stay with him. And I remember that when the Rams played the Packers, they had that famous play where Jalen Ramsey is like screaming about him being in motion, and he can't stay with him because he was in motion. I think that's something that makes him more difficult to deal with, and and then that running game that they have with Williams and Gordon can be tough to deal with as well. There is something off with that offense. So this might be the remedy for them. Like they might look at this game and saying, "Hey, this is the remedy for the Raiders being banged up at corner." But they've really, when I watch Raiders on film, I just feel like it's a one-man band as far as rushing the passer. Like it's like if Max doesn't get it, then nobody gets it, and that's really difficult. That's a really difficult situation to really kind of deal with. To see him in that, to see Max Crosby in that position. I mean, Chandler Jones just needs to be able to give some love here, man. He really has to wake up and start playing better football.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the defensive game plan. I think is going to revolve around what DBs play in this game.
Uh-huh.
Luckily, it looks like Perryman's going to come back, so I fully expect Divine Diablo has been bad in zone coverage. Like teams have been finding out where's Diablo, and we're going to attack him. I don't think Diablo is going to be on the field in passing situations. I think you might see Perryman here. And I know Perryman's not as athletic, but he just needs to cover the right zone and go to the right place and have the right drop. Perryman or Diablo is having a lot of problems understanding where to go in zone coverage. My thing with Russell Wilson here is he's gonna throw the ball to the backs. He's gonna throw the ball to the tight end. They love this Beck guy, Andrew Beck, number 83. He's kind of like the fullback, the H back. They move him around. They get the ball to him. So I would look for the Raiders have to figure out a way to cover the middle of the field, because the outside corners, when Hobbs and Yasin have been healthy, have played well. I don't think we're going to see Hobbs this week. He's in concussion protocol. Yasin practiced today, but he's got a knee. I don't know. We'll see if he can last the entire game. The Raiders, you're probably going to see Nicole Roby-Coleman make his Raiders debut this week. He'll probably be up off the practice squad, a veteran slot that can come in there. But I think that if Robertson's going to go outside, this is the week where they're going to challenge him vertically down the field, because Cortland Sutton is not a good matchup for him outside. And I think you're going to see them go deep. The Raiders have been playing a lot of zone. They've been mixing in a lot of cover 3, because that's what these players are used to from last year, and a little bit of cover 1. But the Raiders have to limit explosive plays this week. They have to keep the ball in front of them. But having said that, it can't be like last week where it's run for 6, run for 5, dump off for 8, dump off for 12, screen for 23. The Raiders are going to have to tighten up the underneath coverage in the middle of the field, and then get the guys on the ground in 3 or 4 or 5 yards. They can't keep giving up checkdowns for big gains.
Yeah. Is Morag and any closer or no?
He practiced today. He's going to play.
He's going to play. So at least if they can have Harmon and Morag and Abram playing safety, maybe that could help as well. That would be a huge lift there. We got Neil Farrell, Nate Hobbs. Looked like Andre James was a full participant. Let's see here. Cole Miller was limited. So was Morag. Foster Moreau did not practice. Bilal Nichols was limited. Perryman was limited. It doesn't. I mean, Hunter Renfro concussion did not practice, and then Rocky Sin will be limited. So hopefully they can ramp some of those guys up to play, especially in that secondary. Your famous line about with Al Davis, don't ever leave a team without corners is very big and very true. as far as that goes. So I mean Russell is not necessarily this runner as well too. So you look at, I mean, I think he's had, he has a bunch of rushing yards to boot. He's sitting in the pocket, not really. I mean, he's taking a lot of sacks as well too. So listen, he's still Russell Wilson. He can still make plays. I still get worried when I see that lollipop, deep ball that he throws, because that can be pass interference or it can be a reception for this team. But they have at least some of the pieces, to me, in my mind, just to be able to keep him in the pocket like they did with Kyler Murray for a part of the game. But they have to kind of finish this one, and somebody else has to step up, and you're allowed to blitz in this league too. So we'll see if that happens.
It was interesting when I went back and watched the first half. The Raiders actually blitzed quite a bit when they got gashed and gave up 3 touchdowns. Um, but there was a lot of zone blitzes,
No
and then in the
blitzing.
second half against Tennessee, it was a lot of man, and then they shut them out. So I don't know if Patrick Graham's going to trust whoever the corners are. If Yasin can't go, then I think they're going to play a ton of zone. I don't think he's throwing Sam Webb and Robertson out there and playing a ton of man. They're going to go big nickel. I think you're going to have Abrams going to play it the slot as a big nickel, and then they're going to have to stop the run, hopefully with Perryman in there and get them into third and long. The weaknesses on the Broncos offense are the right tackle Cam Fleming, and then you could probably get, Bowles got a lot of penalties early in his career, and then hopefully he can beat some of the guards. But someone on the interior of that defensive line is going to have to win in passing downs. I would like to see them, if Diablo's on the field in passing downs, just blitz him. Um,
Yeah.
Bring him from somewhere because he's not covering anybody right now. And they're just going to have to figure out how to. I hope they don't go with the Kyler Murray approach where they mush rush and they don't try to get after Russell Wilson.
Go get
They
him.
need to get after Russell Wilson, get him on the ground, and don't allow him back there because this secondary behind him is going to be fairly young this week.
Yeah, no question about that. You can't stop playing games. Stop playing games with that. Like if you have chance, they have to. I mean, if you're gonna, like, you have to. I understand the concept of, like, okay, I'm worried about playing man. I didn't see. Is Jerry Judy gonna play in this game? I know he's banged up.
Yeah, he
So
played last week.
that's what, yeah. So you got Jerry Judy and you got him, but he's not comfortable in his offense yet. And I don't know if this dude's comfortable being a head coach, but somehow he's 2-1, and our coach
Yeah.
is on 3. So I mean, if he ever gets comfortable, Hackett, watch out, AFC West, I guess. As far as that goes, DJ Jones is in concussion protocol. Didn't practice. Neither did guard Dalton Reisner, and Billy Turner. And also, let's see here. Randy Gregory did not practice, and then got hamstrings to Jonathan Cooper there as well, out there in Denver. So yeah, we'll see what goes there. I think the just especially if Jones isn't going to play, yeah, we got just give a brother 25 carries. Like, I mean, like, just, I mean, it could be a combination of Zaire and Josh Jacobs, but somehow, some way, you gotta get 25 carries out of this team this weekend.
Yeah, and the way to get defenses out of that too high look where they basically double everybody, you got to run the football and get that safety in the box and get them. You have to run them out of those coverages. So I think this is the week they're going to try to do that. You definitely don't want to throw the ball 40, 50 times with Gregory and Chubb coming off the edges or even inside. Draymond Jones can still win. DJ Jones can still win against the
Mhm.
guards. So the Raiders are going to have to scheme up a run game. The interesting thing is they've added new wrinkles to the run game every week, so I'm sure they have something for this front by Denver.
Mhm.
Um, the Raiders are going to have to run the ball, control the clock, get the Broncos out of those coverages, those too high coverages, and then basically when you have chances one on one with Devontae outside, now take those chances.
Yeah.
They can't turn the ball over with this defense. I think the Broncos lead the league in forced fumbles. Um, so that's something they're going to have to hold on to the rock this week, and we'll see what happens. I think this game's going to be closer than people think. I think because the Raiders secondary, I don't know who's going to line up, so it's really hard to think what kind of defense they're going to play in this scheme. I don't know what's going on with Diablo too. He kind of scares me out there right now. So When we get to predictions, I still don't know which way I'm going to lean. I'll just
Yeah,
when we get to that point of the show, I'll just have to make a pick, I guess.
yeah, we'll see. But so we have picks for the NFL. Let's do our NFL picks first, and then we'll do the Raiders pick. As far as that goes, I'll go first. I think they were first last week. I'll go first this week. I'm gonna take. We got a Wednesday, and then we got a Wednesday show, so we can go with this one that will include Thursday night. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals here. I'm gonna go Bengals. I think the Bengals are gonna bounce back. And give the on a short week. And who knows if Tua is going to play or not. Give them their first loss. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna ride that. People laugh. I don't know why people. The DMs I got from like for picking the Jags last week. People were really. I'm like, dude, the Chargers should not be favored again. 7 points or more against any team in football. They're just. I don't think they're good. I don't think they're that good. And now you have the injuries are piling up. They lose Bosa for the entire season now with a groin injury. That's a big loss. I mean, now you can just and they also lost Slater, right? Um,
Yeah,
um,
Slater, Bosa, they think might come back later, but Jackson's out, Bosa's out, Slater's out. Herbert didn't look right with the ribs. Like they have a
yeah,
ton of injuries. Keenan
yeah.
Allen's still out.
I mean, I wonder if you remember when Derek got hurt in Denver with the back, and like they were, and they probably might have brought him back too early. Do you think maybe they could? I mean, could they? I mean, like, do ribs are gonna and ribs are ribs, so they're gonna be in. He's gonna be in pain the rest of the season. But maybe a week off might have, and then he even finished that game too, so which is like even crazier. When that game got out of hand, he still finished it. So, that was kind of nuts. Let's go to. So I got Houston, I got the Bengals, and then
The Jaguars, or did you take the Jaguars or did you take the Texans?
I took the Texans this week.
So you got Texans.
I'm going.
What's the point spread there? Five plus
Yeah,
five, home dog.
home dog. I like home dogs. And then I'm going to trust Doug Peterson one more time. And I'm going to say they cover that 7 point spread in Philly. I'm going to cover that for Philly. If Philly is down. They won't be down for this game because Doug's coming to town. They won't be, but I think they're kind of do to play a close game. They scored 24 points in the first half every week, this team. So I was told that Jalen Hurts couldn't throw. I'll let you go.
There was a certain podcast, I think it's called Put on Raiders, where Doug Peterson was talked heavily about as someone the Raiders probably should have gone after and or hired in the
Yes.
offseason, but we'll have to bring those clips up when your Jaguars win the AFC South, which you predicted last week.
I like
Um,
him.
yeah, this is an interesting. I looked at all the lines this week, and I really couldn't find games I liked. Um, there was nothing that really glaringly stuck out, so I'm just going to pick three games here.
Mhm.
I had a bad week last week, but I'm going to take the Ravens as a home dog against Buffalo +3.
Okay.
Um, I just think Lamar Jackson is just playing at a different level right now,
He's
and
playing.
I think the defense for Baltimore, when they're starting to get a little bit healthier outside at corner, is going to allow them to do more things. And Buffalo kind of struggled last week, so it's tough for me to say Buffalo is going to lose two in a row because I don't believe that. But at the same time, like you're going to give me Baltimore as a home dog, so I'm going to take Baltimore. I had the Texans, so I'll cross them off since you took them. I'm going to take the Steelers. Steelers at home -3 against the Jets. I know Zach Wilson's coming back because Zach Wilson hasn't played this year and he missed most of training camp. Now he's missed the first 3 weeks. That offensive line for the Jets is an absolute shambles. I think they have multiple guys on IR. So give me the Steelers defense at home. I don't love Mitch Trubisky here, but I think they can turn around, hand the ball off to Najee Harris enough, make just enough plays outside. So give me the Steelers. Um, I'm going to do this. I don't know why. I'm going to take the Fighting Dan Campbells.
They
I'm going
playing.
to lay 4 points at home against the Seahawks. That offensive line from Detroit's real. I saw some stat where like the average yards per carry before contact is over like 4.5 for the Lions. Like they're literally moving people off the ball.
Yeah.
Like their running backs getting 5 yards before anyone touches them on average. I think they can wear down the Seahawks. I think that it's a home game for the Lions. Like if the Lions are going to get right and win some games this year,
Yeah.
this one I have circled. So I don't love laying 4. But I think the Lions can win this game going away. I don't love the Seahawks here. I don't think that defense is going to hold up against the running attack by the Lions. But I don't want to. I don't like Jared Goff either. But I think the
Yeah.
running game is enough here.
I will say this about the Lions. I'm sorry about the Seahawks. Don't screw this up. Like, don't screw this up. Like, legit. You won the one game your fans wanted you to win. You got Bryce Young. You got CJ Stroud. You just have to suck it up one season, and you get your next quarterback. So I would just say don't screw. I would just say do what you have to do and win and win this game. I mean, excuse me, and don't start winning games. Play hard, do what you do, but don't screw this up because you have opportunity to change your franchise here.
Yeah.
As far as that goes.
It hurts to look at it and go, okay, I just picked Jared Goff, Mitch Trubisky, and I picked against Josh Allen. So um, I don't love any of those picks, but that's
Yeah.
kind of where I went this week. And there was a lot of lines that were -3, -2.5. Like there wasn't huge point spreads to really go after this week.
So we do have a game to pick that is the Raiders. What are your thoughts there? I mean, for me, I just feel like I watched a couple of games. I didn't watch the Seahawks game again, but I watched the last two games with the Broncos, and just be sound defensively, and they're not gonna explode on you. I think that's really even when they've gotten penalties, even when they got even when things have gone, kind of gone their way, like they still end up with like anywhere between 16 and 10 points in these games. They're not a really good offensive team right now. So, and I think the Raiders, they play a half. In that half where they do give scoring up, it's if they get to the red zone three times, it's you get they can't score touchdowns every single time. You gotta start having some red zone resistance there. You talked about the short passes. Yes, the short passes to the backs are going to be dangerous. They're going to be open, but could those be 3 or 4 yard gains and not 17? Especially on on second and 12. Like those are killers for a defense. So I'm gonna. What's the line? What's the line on this game anyway?
2.5.
Raiders my favorite. Raiders favorite.
Yeah, Raiders are favorite.
That's gross. I'd be mad if I was the Broncos. I'm gonna pick the Raiders. The 20-17 on our most consistent offensive player winning the game, Daniel Carlson, with time running out. Hopefully towards my end of the end zone.
Yeah, I think here I don't love Nathaniel Hackett for it all here. The Raiders scare me because I don't know who's going to be in the secondary. I trust Denver's defense more. I'm 0-3 picking the Raiders so far this year, but they're at home. It's a division game. They have more talent at key spots. They need to win a game in the AFC West. Denver is 2-1. They could very easily be 0-3. They pulled out a nail biter at home against San Francisco by 1 and Texans. I'm going to go Raiders here. I don't want to. Part of me is saying, like, my mind is telling me the Broncos are going to win this game because of the injuries to the Raiders' defensive players. My heart is telling me if the Raiders are going to win and get this thing rolling, they have to do it the next 2 weeks. So I'm going to take the Raiders in a low-scoring game. I'm going to say 23-16.
See, okay, I'll take that one. Take that one. Either way, but I just feel like you got to think. They're bad. They've been bad, and they've been special teams. Everything it's been off just by a click. If they can just
I
get,
think they're going to run the ball this week, and I think they're going to find a way to get it to Devontae. At least I hope that's the case.
yes,
And I think the defense is going to play better with the crowd. And I think they're going to limit some explosive plays. Denver is putrid in the red zone. I think they're 1 for 7 scoring touchdowns.
Yeah.
So if the Raiders can just keep them out of the end zone and make them kick field goals,
Exactly.
And the Raiders can go down and actually capitalize a time or two in the red zone, they can win this game.
Yeah, I think they can. No question about it. So, all right. Put on Raiders podcast. Ryan Holmes, Dwayne Douglas. Check out those Those Twitter, those Twitter videos as well too. Those breakdowns are really good. Ryan does a great job there. What was the high view this week? Was like, well, on the Malcolm Kuntz one, was that Malcolm Kuntz that had the 20,000
It
views?
was like 25,000, had over 100,000 impressions, whatever that
Impressions,
means.
whatever
But
that means. I've never. I should look that up one day. See what it. I'm on Twitter enough. I should look that up what that means. All right, brother. You take care. Have a great
I
day.
think people scrolled down, people scrolled by it. Maybe 100,000 people saw it on their feed, but
Yeah.
25,000 people watched the video.
Watch the video. So yeah, and listen, I know y'all like Malcolm Kuntz, but you gotta dig a little deeper. Dig a little deeper on Malcolm. It's not all cherries. I'll
He
be, I'll
needs
be,
some snaps, but he doesn't need to be starting yet.
yeah. I mean, and listen, third and long. I got no problem. I got no problem. Maybe second and long, so we can rush the passer hopefully, because like we need something happen on second down, because second down's killing us. All right,
Yep.
deuces. Take care.
Take care.